A smoking room was filled with a cloud of cigarette smoke. Yo, good job, Miranda. Me too. The expensive smoke filter gave off some crackling electric noise, but it didn't seem like it was doing anything at all. Why do smokers have to be shoved so far down this corridor where the sun doesn't even reach? I recalled hearing that the tax revenue from tobacco was about 1/10 of the municipality's revenue. God, I love Higurashi's writing. We were the most heavily taxed members of this municipality, so I really wish they'd show us a little more respect. Why would you discard the 5 Monzu there? It's just decreasing your options. One of the younger detectives was having a staring contest with the Mahjong magazine called Next Turn. You're still in Tenpai if you cut the 5 Monzu. If you're betting on a Haite, then shouldn't you be going into it with a Mongon? Umanchan, look at the pond. They all discarded a 5 Monzu. It's a safe tile. You'd hate if, at the endgame, someone was sitting on a Tenpai on the last turn, wouldn't you? The kid let out another groan, put out his cigarette, and then took out another one. I knew what all of that meant. I just don't agree. Why would you reduce your own options? By the way, you can't call Ron with your winning tile in that Haite. What? Why is that? Wait, I don't know that. Well, maybe... Oh, because they're in Tenpai, so you can't... Sorry, anyway. Just then, I heard a voice calling from down the hall. Are you here, Oishi-san? You have a call from a civilian. Whoa, ain't that something. Well, see you soon. Why can't you call Ron on it? Hold on for a second, Oishi-san. It's so funny that the one thing about that Mahjong thing that I didn't understand they left hanging. God damn it. The man sitting in the seat Oishi-san was heading towards waved at the telephone receiver. Outside line. From a payphone. Oh, why thank you. Sorry to keep you waiting. This is Oishi. Who is it? Ah, Oishi-san? Hello? If it isn't Maibara-san, why good evening. From the tone of Maibara-kun's voice, I already knew he was in a predicament. This was the first time Maibara-kun had phoned me, and he was calling from a payphone. Please calm down. Did something happen? Well... His voice was erratic over the line. He had completely lost his sense of composure. This is the first time we have had not Keiichi's POV outside of tips. This is the first time in the story itself that we have left Keiichi's point of view. After checking that nobody else could hear, I prompted him in a hushed tone. What happened? I... Calm down, Maibara-san. I can have the local officers head to your location. I'll be there soon, too. I think that's impossible. His voice was quavering and hoarse. He wasn't surrounded by people even as he was making this call, was he? Maibara-san, you're calling from a payphone right now, right? Where is that payphone? There were no other sounds besides Maibara-kun's voice. It had to be a phone booth. I scratched out a note and thrust it at my colleague sitting across from me. Inamizawa, phone booth. He understood quickly and hastily started on the internal lines. Calm down, Maibara-san. What is your current situation? It usually wasn't a good idea to tell someone panicking to do so, but this was not a usual case. Maibara-kun didn't just get in trouble, get away, and then call me. He was in the midst of something dangerous right now. But yelling at Maibara-kun right now would just needlessly cause him to be even more frantic. Maibara-kun wasn't just calling to seek help. He was trying to tell us something more than that. And whatever that was, if I didn't get it from this call, I was certain there would never be another chance. My colleague pushed a note in front of me. There's only one booth in Hinomizawa. Patrol car is on the way. 5 minutes. It's too long. How many officers are in there? 2. Not enough. If it was as I had imagined, there were likely quite a few people surrounding Maibara-kun. 5 minutes was too long. Did you call the officer stationed in Hinamizawa? He's scheduled to be on patrol. They're currently out, and it'll be impossible to contact them. God damn! Uma-chan, bring the car around. Understood. Hello? Oishi-san? Hello. It's all right. I can hear you loud and clear. There was something wrong with Maibara-kun. That wasn't a normal coughing sound. Vomiting? Or was it blood? Had he already been attacked? Was he injured? Maibara-san, the police are on their way. They'll be there in a couple of minutes, so hold on somehow. Hello? Can you hear me? Maibara-san. I could hear on the other end of the line that he was having a coughing fit. The worst possible situation popped into my head. Maibara-san, who is the culprit? How many are there? I thought at first the culprit was human. I couldn't tell if that was a cough or vomiting. Are you alright? Maibara-san, I thought that the culprit was a person and not Oyashiro-sama's curse. Up until right now. But I guess in the end it was an intense bout of coughing, then vomiting. But I guess Oyashiro-sama does exist. No, he's here. Maibara-san, please, just please calm down. I had been thinking it was strange for a while now. It's been following me this whole time. I run and run and run and run, but it just sticks to me like my shadow. But slowly, so slowly, it's digging itself into my back. Maibara-san, are they, right now, perhaps, right behind you? Wait, is that why Rena's injuries didn't want to press charges? They didn't blame her personally? Behind me. Right behind me. Please, Maibara-san, I can tell you're scared, but please, who is it that's right behind you? I can't just look behind me. If I do, I'll... I understand that you're scared, but please tell me. You just need to turn around a bit. Who is it? Who is behind you, Maibara-san? Right after I said that, I could hear him vomiting intensely. What followed was a nightmarish sound. Maibara-san, it couldn't be that you're clawing out your own throat? There was no answer, but I could hear something like scratching. There was a bang, as if something was being hit. Maibara-kun had probably dropped the receiver. I could hear groaning and vomiting on the other end and a repeating, abnormal noise. Hello? Hello? Maibara-san, hello? I knew how far away my voice would sound on the other end, but I couldn't help but shout. At that moment, I heard whispering coming from the other end. I couldn't tell what he was saying. From the way he was saying it, was he talking to himself? Or was he talking to someone there? Hello? Maibara-san? Rather than whispering, it was some kind of mantra he was chanting over and over. I focused my senses, trying to pick up what he was saying. What was he repeating? Any guesses, chat? What exactly? Beep. Suddenly the line went dead. Did he use up his time? It was because it was a payphone. Ah. Yeah. Oh, it was probably I'm sorry. Skill issue should detect the throat rip. Hello, Harish. Good morning, hon. It was because it cut out so abruptly. The last thing he said came out so clearly in my mind. Oishi-san, the car is good to go. Oishi-san. It was... I'm sorry. Look at you, chat room, so smart. Oishi-san? That's what he was repeating over and over. He said, I'm sorry. I had a gut feeling. There was no longer a need to hurry. I could hear the chirping of the Higurashi, spilling in from the open window. I should have been able to hear them this entire time. I just wasn't paying any attention. Ooh, look at that line. What a line. Why did I focus on them all of a sudden? Were they trying to tell me something? Only the Higurashi knew. That's how I felt. Yo, Joey, thank you for the gift sub. Yes, enjoy your gift sub, girly. July 1983, in Hinamizawa, a remote village near Shishibone City, there was a murder involving 2 female students. The suspect is Maibara Keiichi. The suspect calls over his 2 female classmates, Ryugu Rena, Sonozaki Mion, to his house and beat them to death with a metal bat. The scene of the crime was the suspect's room on the 2nd floor of his house. Inside of the room was covered with a significant quantity of splattered blood, and there were signs of a struggle with the victims. In addition to the scene of the crime, the entryway, living room, kitchen all had traces of a struggle. At the entryway, the shoe rack and wall had evidence of being impacted by blunt force trauma. It is believed to have been the same bat as the murder weapon. Having no traces of blood, it is believed the destruction occurred from before the murders. There is the possibility that the suspect overpowered his victims to keep them from fleeing. Yo, Joey, thank you for another gift sub. Sorry, this auto-scrolls. In the living room, the rug had been pulled back, then thrown aside. It is hard to believe this had a connection to the struggle with the victims, and thus the reason for this remains unknown. In the kitchen, the garbage bag was torn apart, and the contents were spread across the floor. Garbage was strewn about in the surrounding area, and handprints believed to belong to the suspect were discovered. It is believed that the suspect had, for some reason, taken out the garbage and struck it with his fists. The reason for this remains unknown. In addition, there was a note stuck to the fridge. The words, "Was there a needle?" were written on it. The meaning behind this remains unclear. Just in case, the garbage was searched, but a needle was not discovered. Though the garage door was functional, it had been left open since the suspect moved in. The garage door was found closed. The suspect's fingerprints were discovered on the garage door. The reason behind this remains unknown. The suspect fled the scene of the crime. However, a patrolling officer, Hinamizawa Local PD, found the suspect collapsed inside a phone booth. At the time of the discovery, the suspect was unconscious in critical condition. He was rushed to the hospital for treatment, but did not regain consciousness and died 24 hours later. The results of the autopsy indicate the immediate cause of death seemed to be hypovolemic shock. It was determined that the subject had clawed at his own throat with his fingernails, and the resulting bleeding caused his death. With the similarity to the death of Tomitake-san the prior week, the police believed there to be a connection and opened an investigation. However, due to the wishes of the local authorities, it will be a confidential investigation. Due to the abnormal nature of the death, it was suspected that drugs were involved, but as with Tomitake-san, there was no trace found. What prompted all this remains inexplicable. As such, the case is being treated as an act committed on impulse. However, with several accounts of the suspect's bizarre behavior leading up to the incident, separated from his group of friends, isolation, inexplicable behavior. Several days before the incident, the suspect began carrying around a metal bat. The suspect was observed displaying aggressive behavior, as well as talking to himself at school. His classmates actually heard portions of what he was saying. 2 days before the incident, the suspect declared to his parents the possibility of his death. Due to these circumstances, the police have begun an investigation on the possibility that this crime was not committed on impulse, but was instead planned several days in advance. Afterwards, a note was found in the suspect's room that he had written himself. The note was written on 2 sheets from a B5 college-ruled notebook that had each been torn in half. As if been trying to conceal it was stuck hidden behind a clock on the wall. It's so long! The contacts are written as in the appendix. The police believe it to be strongly related to the incident. The police changed their line of investigation based on the possibility that the suspect was involved in some sort of incident himself. However, no further clues were found, casting doubt on the credibility of the note. Was the crime impulsive or premeditated? With the solution unclear and no further developments, the case has been labeled as unresolved. However, the following year, suspicion arose regarding the nature of the note. The note was not written on 2 halves of B5 paper from 2 separate sheets, but was originally a single sheet of B5 paper. In order to erase several lines from the middle, someone had torn them out. Judging from the size of the letters, the missing section is estimated to be 2 to 3 lines. It is highly probable that the person who eliminated the lines in question is not the suspect. In addition, judging from traces of large quantities of cellophane tape stuck to the back of the clock, speculation that something other than the note was stuck there had arisen. The person who discovered the crime was a detective rumored to have a connection with the incident, Oishi Kurado. He underwent voluntary questioning, but denies involvement in damages to the note. The suspect's note. I, Maibara Keiichi, am in fear for my life. I do not know why they are after me. The only thing I do know is that it has to do with Oyashiro-sama's curse. Rena and Mion are conspirators of the perpetrators. There are 4 or 5 adults, maybe more. They have a white van. This is all on the first sheet. Everything below this has been ripped out. This is from the second sheet. Everything above this has been ripped out. I have no idea why it has become like this. If you are reading this, then I am probably already dead. Though the only difference may be the presence or lack of a body. You who are reading this, please uncover the truth. That is my only desire. Maibara Keiichi. Whew, okay, I get to... oh my god. Yeah, so, Joey, thank you so much for the 2 gift subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't believe you just hit 200 gift subs in my chat. Thank you, everyone. Really, really appreciate the support. There's nothing about leaving the rest to the detective? Yeah. There isn't. There's nothing about leaving the rest to Oishi-san. There's nothing about, the syringe or the drug. Yeah, Keiichi is dead. He killed Rena and Mion as well. Higurashi. When they cry. All cast review session has become available. To play it, select Extra on the title menu and then pick All Cast Review section. Boom. So it's very important to do that. That is the last thing we have to do in Onikakushi-hen, Chapter 1 of Higurashi. Yes, it does end with Maibara Keiichi's death, and Mion Sanazaki and Ryugu Rena are dead. All cast review session. Thank you for buying Higurashi When They Cry, Onikakushi, a visual novel by 07th Expansion Team. How was it? If you enjoyed it, even a little bit, it would make me happy. Even a little bit is stretching it. That incredibly dark ending made me angry, you know? Made us angry. Chat does not know. As I understand it, this Onikakushi chapter is supposed to be somewhat of a prologue to the entire series. How could the prologue have such an incredibly dark ending? Yeah, but doesn't that happen sometimes? The player digging through the story in order to avoid a bad ending is the point of these types of games after all. It's still just the first chapter. I'm looking forward to the next one. What happens in the next chapter? Rena, do you know? Yeah, they said the next chapter will introduce another aspect of the story. That's a strange way of putting it. What does that mean? In this chapter, they introduced the string of mysterious deaths that were happening in Hinamizawa recently, right? The next chapter will introduce some of the history of Hinamizawa. With one strange event happening after another, I totally got lost. What exactly is Oyashiro-sama's curse about? Is this like a TLDR? It is a way to digest what just happened and prepare yourself for the next chapter. Actually, what's Oyashiro-sama to begin with? They didn't explain it much. I haven't heard much about it, but I kinda have a bad feeling about it. It feels like it'll be another one of those scary stories where somebody gets cursed again. Tough luck, eh, Kei-chan? What kind of curse is he gonna get hit with this time? However, I am looking forward to seeing what kind of story it's going to be. Sorry for being late. My bad, my bad. Hey everybody. Good work today. Same to you. Huh? Where's Kei-chan? Kei-kun is already off reading the script for the next chapter. It must be hard being the main character. Huh. That's too bad. He could have at least poked in to say hello. It's probably because he doesn't have any character art, so he couldn't poke his head in even if he wanted to. Rika-san, that's what we refer to as a personal problem. In any case, that story really was a lot of trouble, especially for Kei-kun and Rena-chan. Trouble? That was the mother of all bad ends. That's the photographer, yeah? That I do sort of want to glarp. I wonder, what was the identity of the thing that attacked Kei-kun? My theory is that it was the work of the people made to look like a curse. Yeah, they literally theorize. It's so good. But at the end, Keiichi made that phone call. Yeah, I also thought that call was strange. At that point, Kei-chan should have been certain that the culprits were people. That really was a strange phone call. It almost sounded like he was being chased by a ghost or something. Just from that phone call, it really makes me think that it was the work of a curse after all. Since we're all here, why don't we share our theories? Let's start with Sonozaki-san. I absolutely believe it was people. I think it was a man-made incident that was just imitating the strange folklore floating around Hinamizawa. Certainly. Every year on the day of the festival, for another link in the chain of mysterious deaths to appear certainly is suspicious. That so-called chain of mysterious deaths is definitely somebody trying to reenact the folklore. Definitely. I think it was the curse. looking at the scene where Keiichi went berserk in the entryway, and the last scene with the phone call, I just couldn't come to the conclusion that the person was a culprit. I can say, without spoiling anything, that these... I will say that the, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that the rap parties, as they're called, they are not canon. Ah, but are they? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. They are not canon to what just happened in Onikakushi, I'll tell you that. When you say it that way, it really wasn't the type of scene that would make you think it was the work of an actual person. Yeah, but even then, I still think it was a person who did it. That last scene in the one with the entryway, I think it might have been a delusional episode brought about by post-traumatic stress disorder. Gosh, that's interesting. I wouldn't know what's going on anymore, even if you didn't use such complicated words. In other words, Keiichi was so scared that he was imagining things. Then, what was the meaning behind that scene? What exactly was the mysterious presence behind Keiichi? A red herring. Red herring. Michan, what do you mean by a red herring? Like old man Tomitake here said, that scene was a result of Kei-chan having a stress-induced delusion from being mentally cornered. To expand on that a bit further, it was a ploy to make the player think it was a curse. That's why it was a red herring. That's the definition of a red herring. It's a fake clue. It's not a lie, but it is intended to make you, please stop talking to me, the player. Absolutely not. But when you say it like that, but... well, it just means that there's that possibility. In that case, the theory that Oishi-san proposed during the story that it was a conspiracy by the villagers was correct. What does the man himself have to say about that? Me? It makes you think, eh? Huh? I totally thought that Oishi-san would be behind the people explanation. During the story, I said it was definitely the work of people, but if a person really was to blame, that leaves a lot of loose ends. Like what? Let us hear what Detective Oishi-san's theory is. First of all, if a human is the culprit, then there has to be a motive. In other words, somebody has to gain something from it. So what you mean is, if this was the work of people, there would have to be something gained from causing the chain of mysterious deaths? Exactly. I felt that somebody could have benefited from the deaths of people related to the dam development, but the recent victims weren't related to that at all. First off, who benefits from killing Keiichi-kun? I see. If you say it like that, my case is kind of weak too. I mean, none of your money was stolen. There's no way it was human culprits. Tomitake would be like, huh, yeah, my death's a little fishy too. But that's not everything there is to it, right? Like Michan just said, there might have been some reason for them to reenact the folklore. Exactly. No, the only ones of these who were dead at the end of the story were Mion, Rena, and Tomitake. This wasn't a murder where you could consider the typical motives. It makes me think that this murder was most likely some sort of ritualistic murder to reenact the blood-stained history of the village. So, I'll ask the question of the hour. Who gains from this reenactment? It's the Nipa girl. It's not about simple benefit. It's more a psychological reason. I think that maybe this was an act of revenge. Something native to the region. Fate was unable to be fooled this time around. I see. A member of some repressed family looking to air out an old grudge of their ancestors. Something like that? I don't like that. Then what is it? It couldn't be that you're leaning towards the curse explanation, Oishi-san. That's right, that's right. The man playing the detective said so. It's decided. It was a curse. If, like how Maibara-san said during the story, it was the case that Oyashiro-sama possessed Reina-san and Sonozaki-san and committed those acts, that would fit the evidence the most. As much as I hate to say it. Actually, I'm of the same opinion as Oishi-san. I can't come up with any other explanation for the normally kind Rena and Michan to suddenly start acting strange like that. About that, it may sound strange coming from the person herself, but I think that I, Mion, did it. The rap party is so good. Mion's about to give Mion theory. Rena's like, I think we were cursed. And Mion's like, no, I think I did it. I don't get what Mi is saying. I'd like an explanation. Oh, sorry. In other words, I think this may end up being a really cruel story. Huh? Wait, Mi-chan. You don't mean... If you follow the trail of evidence to the very end, that's how it would seem. I also have my suspicions. In other words, Reina-san and Sonozaki-san both actually had those personalities to begin with, and were merely deceiving Maibara-san. Am I right? I don't like that at all. Wah! This is all the curse's fault. Yeah, Heiichi beat Rena and Mion to death with a bat. It's all the curse's fault. Rena-san and Mion-san and everybody else are kind, nice people. Yeah, Kiichi killed her in self-defense. I think that too. I think that Rena and Mion-chan are really good people at heart. I think that during the story, they definitely were possessed by something. So Rena also thinks it was a curse. Then let me ask everybody who thinks it was a curse. There has to be a reason for the curse, right? I don't think there would be something indiscriminately cursing everything. Can somebody explain that? A curse is a curse. Human logic won't get us anywhere. Sadako-chan. A personified deity is, in the end, nothing more than the creation of people. That's why their method of thinking is also understandable to humans. Just take a look at the Greek pantheon. They cry, get angry, get jealous. Basically, they're like humans. So what you're saying is that Oyoshiro-sama is cursing people with some benefit in mind? That's an odd way of putting it, but basically, yes. That's why they say, far from Jupiter, far from his thunder. Hey, that's what Keiichi said. You do have a point. Basically, it doesn't matter if it's Oyashiro-sama or humans, there has to be a reason. But Rika, what if that reason isn't clear? I don't know. That's right. This is still just the prologue. There's still a lot of stuff that hasn't been revealed yet. Yeah, it's hard to come up with any more theories at this point. No, I won't be satisfied until this is all made clear. Mion-san seems rather peculiar about this as well. We'll just make the best with what we know. Doesn't this feel interesting? Like the club a little bit? Ah, yeah. If you put it that way, it does seem interesting. Well then, let's summarize. Let's see. I think it was a curse. To be clear, I will be starting Chapter 2 after we finish this. Oh, this is the Club Showdown music. Time for a game. Spade, go ahead and ask your question. I'll be looking at chat. Hometake-kun thinks it was people, right? Yeah. I'll go with it being people. I also agree with the people explanation. That's not to say I hate such fantastic things like curses, but in this particular case, the connection to a curse is a little weak. 2 for the people explanation. Rena-san was on the curse side of things, right? Yep. Sadako-chan and I believe it was a curse, right? Yeah. I think it was a curse. People who say that Rena-san and Mion-san were evil to begin with are more befitting of a curse. Well, I don't want to believe that my own personality was that twisted. But I have to be cool when I'm in club mode. Rena said at the beginning that they told her something about the plot, and I cannot shake the feeling that they are an actual... If I base my choice on just emotion, I'll regret it, you know? Blood mode is actually very much Dragon install. Well now, it doesn't really matter which side you pick, does it? Huh? Rika-chan hasn't said anything yet. What do you think? I don't think that Oyashiro-sama is a bad god. Huh. That's an interesting opinion. I don't want to worship some bad god that just curses people. I'd like a generous god more than one that curses. That's right, Rika-chan is a shrine maiden. Good opinion. Feel like this is foreshadowing? This stuff is definitely not meaningless, I'll tell you that. Alright, Marana, have a good day. Then what? If Rika-chan doesn't believe that it was Oyashiro-sama, then do you think the perpetrators were human after all? We'll just go with that. Well now, that means the votes are split right down the middle. So half of us think it was a curse, and half of us think it was people? Rena-chan, just for reference, what did the test players who played the beta version think? Yeah. There were a lot more players who believed in the people explanation. See? See? Right there. Our veteran comrades are cool, collected, and very observant. But the beta version only finished partway through the story. That's right. Even the people who played the beta might change their mind if they got through to the very end. What should we do then? This means that the opinions are still split. It's no fun if we don't settle this. Yeah, this literally got handed out at a convention. And then people got back to Ryukishi and gave him their opinions. We need there to be an odd number of judges. In other words, we need one more opinion. Ah, perfect timing then. Why don't we ask Keiichi-kun himself? Let's call him. The opinion of the victim himself is very valuable. Since that's decided, it's time for the phone. Hello, Keiichi-kun? It's Rena. Are you busy with work right now? Yeah, really busy. Just when I thought I'd get a break because the chapter's over, it's already time for the next one. How's Kei-chan? Busy? Yeah, he's moping. I can hear you, you know. It must be nice having a wrap-up party. I wanted to go too. You can come if you get some character art for yourself. Rika, that's a secret. Ah, sorry about that, Keiichi-kun. Anyway, during the current chapter, Keiichi-kun, didn't you die? We were just talking about who the culprit might be. Basically, we're deadlocked on whether it was the people or Yoshiro-sama's curse that killed you. I'm really sorry, even though you're busy reviewing the script. Keiichi-kun, which do you think it was? That's obvious, isn't it? Which? Isn't it both of them? Targeted by some suspicious people from the village, and then cursed by some strange Yoshiro-sama on top of that. It's both humans and a curse. Everybody's just picking on me. So very, very pitiful. Next time, I'll pat you on the head for you. In the end, the opinion's still split, huh? I'll think this over again. We might have missed something. Well then, please look forward to the next release, Higurashi When They Cry, Watanagashi. Or the Cotton Drifting chapter. Higurashi When They Cry,